Nope. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, we are live. Welcome everybody. Hopefully everyone is having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, depending upon where you are at. Um, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we can see here the overnight session is still within yesterday's range. Right, here's the high from overnight, here's the low from overnight. Yesterday's high is here, yesterday's low is below. So we're inside yesterday's range still. We do, we're still inside yesterday's value, increasing the odds of some choppiness early on. The settle yesterday, 37.94, about, 10 handles below that. So not much, um, not a big move down, a CME gap down like we had yesterday. So probably a little bit more balanced today. An interesting note that I kind of talked about in the trade view is that the half back from yesterday is almost exactly the half back from the previous day, even though we had range extension on the upside and range extension on the downside yesterday. And this kind of just leads me to believe that this area is going to be very important, this 37.77. And it will kind of be the area that I'll be watching, right? And so if you imagine we have a rope of a tug of war, and this is where the knot's at. You got uh you know buyers and sellers kind of competing to see who's going to be in charge. The farther the rope comes, or the knot comes down, sellers are in charge, and the farther the knot goes up, and the knot being price, showing that buyers are in charge. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm going to be viewing that today. um there is still a gap below, which will be, on the table today, and kind of, we're going to be needing to pay attention to it. We definitely don't want to just ignore it. And if we do get down there and visit it again, like we did yesterday, we'll be looking for those responsive buyers. I thought that the target yesterday to the low side was going to be these singles. Didn't quite get down there before catching that response. A lot of volume came in at the low, below yesterday's low, so we had some responsive buyers in the market yesterday. The interesting thing about yesterday's profile as well is that we have a buying tail on the low, selling tail on the high. It's completely overlapping yesterday's range, so it actually looked below yesterday's low and then traded up above yesterday's high. This is kind of um, this is I didn't post it in the Discord. Didn't post one in the Discord. Oh, the stream link. Um, oh yeah, let me post it. I mean, it's the same as every day, but post it. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, because some people kind of wait for the link probably. It's the same link every day. I mean, you could just click the one above; it'll bring you here. I haven't changed it in a while. Yeah, it's in there. It's in there now. I posted it just now. Um, but yeah, I mean, we don't really have much as far as what to look for the most part. I mean, the market's just balancing. Um, there's not really much to do. I think the best thing we can do is kind of stay neutral. I do kind of have, I don't know, I'm kind of leaning to the upside. I'm going to stay patient, of course, and remain unbiased, but I do kind of have an upside bias as far as, kind of how today's going, just because of the gap. The gap didn't fill. Right, Izzy, good morning. Um, and morning, Tommy. Morning, Zoe. Morning, Peter. And so we'll kind of see how that goes today. With the gap not filling yesterday, it kind of shows us that these buyers are kind of willing to step up, and these shorts are kind of you know, still stuck down here. So it makes me kind of think, especially with we have the what's the report tomorrow? There's a big report coming out tomorrow. What is it? Let's see. Tomorrow we've got the non-farm payrolls. Yeah, we've got non-farm payrolls tomorrow, and I think that's going to be a fairly decent sized mover for the market and may set the tone for next week. And it kind of seems like yesterday we had some larger time frame traders kind of buy in these shorter time frame traders, like because they need the liquidity to move the market, right? Regardless of which way they decide to move the market. But they kind of gathered the liquidity from the stops that were below yesterday's profile and above yesterday's profile, and then just settled right back in, right? So it makes me kind of think that morning liquor, that you know that's kind of what was going on yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see how tomorrow goes with that non-farm payroll report. I think that we'll probably get a little break of balance, but today I'm kind of assuming a bit more balance unless we get above the high or the low, right? It seems to me that it's probably safe to buy these breaks as long as this low doesn't break, and then sell these rallies as long as this high doesn't break. It seems like, you know, probably good odds in those in that regard. Let's go ahead and take a peek around the block here. We can see the dollar trying to make its climb back up above that 110 mark. And if we'll look, we can see here's the move down from the dollar, right? A pretty decent move down here in the past 10 days. Um, but trying to come back up into its up into this upper balance. You can see it's still just making these lower highs, but we had, you know, a little trend going on from this high here. We could even draw it on there. We'll see if it oh, fuck. Okay, so you kind of have like a little resistance coming up here. Not really like a strong, you know, weird. So we'll kind of see, you kind of see it's hitting kind of the same spot right here as well. It hit this spot pre-market. It's kind of hitting it yesterday during the cash session, and it's hitting it today. So it'll be interesting to see if the dollar gets some continuation up towards that 112 quarter level. Above that 112 quarter level, probably negative for the market. So we'll go ahead and make sure that we've got that kind of in the back of our minds. The Australian dollar looking just pretty much in balance. The euro, you know, tried to get above that $1 mark, even tagged it really close, and then since traded lower. Bitcoin back up at the 20K level after looking back down below. Oil still on the tear to the upside here. I mean, we can really just see it's just, you know, pretty steep uptrend here as far as you know, basically ever since that meeting here when the oil bottomed out, we've just been, you know, for the most part, just going straight up. Gold catching a little bit of a bid, still kind of hanging strong. Bonds down again, so they're looking weak, which is typically good for equities. Apple looking strong, opening up inside that higher range today, opening up inside yesterday's range after that kind of look below. AMD, right after a kind of, you know, weak pre-market, has kind of bounced back and is up inside the upper part of yesterday's range. Amazon, very similar. Google, about the same, right? Google put in a nice high during the end of the session yesterday, but did not hold it. Meta, you know, looking pretty weak still, but basically just within this bracket, this 140 to 135 level. Microsoft is looking strong finally after looking weak for weeks here. Netflix looking a little bit weaker yesterday, right? We can see how deep the pull down yesterday in Netflix was. And that's kind of really what dragged the market down, I think, because a lot of stuff wasn't really down as much. But Netflix rallied back, and so did the market. Nvidia looking strong as well. Nvidia seems to be trying to pull away from AMD, right? They're kind of correlated, but seems to be pulling away. We do have a decent move up in the 10-year yield, which is, probably negative for the market. You can see as of yesterday, right, it popped up and kind of just held after finally breaking those lows. So definitely be watching that 38 level, 38 half level to see if they're going to get that continuation above that. And then Tesla, right? Tesla's still looking weak, and this is on the backs of, the whole buyout rumors and all of that with Twitter and Elon and all of that. He's not doing himself any favors with some of his tweets. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I think a lot of people are positioning themselves in long calls for Tesla. There was some news about a big player buying long calls for the S&P 500 futures for, I think it was December. There were like 4,500 calls. There's some big purchases yesterday, so that might have been on the back of the rally yesterday as well. Morning, Adam. And then the VIX is also trading a little bit lower, but still, still 28, right? So it's not really, not really much lower. Morning, BJ. Get TJ's box going. Morning, Kevin. Yeah, so I mean, not really much. And some days are like this, right? Morning, Roach. Some days you get back on the computer and not much has changed. So your plan is very similar to the previous day. Not really getting a ton of change, and you don't need to go looking for something to change, right? Sometimes the market is the same, and you have to remember that. The market for the most part is balancing about 70 to 80% of the time, and so you've got to be you've got to be looking for that ability to place responsive trades and understand when the market is balancing and when the market is trending to go with it or to fade it, right? Just taking a peek here around in some sectors. We've got some time, so we still got like 10 minutes. Go ahead and take a peek here. This daily chart just, I'll look at this. We're gonna look at the sectors individually here. So we'll go ahead and start with tech as it's the biggest sector, and you can kind of see tech came down, made a low, and this low was back on the 3rd. So that was Monday. But it's since kind of bounced the past 2 days. So tech getting pretty responsive off of those lows. Then we have healthcare. Um, Healthcare, right, kind of made a double bottom. So you had that low from the 27th and then another low from the 3rd, and it's since kind of bounced up. So old triangle. We still have that resistance up from above, but trying to make this higher high here. And then consumer discretionary, right? Looking a little bit weaker than the others. Still kind of holding below, a little bit of a bounce from the third, but not really performing very well yesterday. Then financials, right? Financials really trying to come back, make nice strong move to the upside. Communications, a little bit weaker as well, not really making the bounce that some of the other ones are. So, and this is kind of the reason that we kind of look at stuff like this, is to see like, okay, where's the money going to flow into? And so we see our two kind of weak sectors, consumer discretionary, communications, of our top 5. And if those start to look green and the other ones are just still hanging out, then the market could really get going, right? But if those look weak and the rest of the market looks kind of weak, well, it's going to be tough for the market to actually rally. Industrials kind of popped up. They're not super important. Staples is still looking kind of weak. These trend lines are old too, and they're from a daily chart. So for some reason, when you have a daily chart on and you switch to a minute chart, it kind of throws everything off. Okay. I mean, then the rest we got real estate, right, looking pretty weak. Utilities also looking pretty weak. Energy actually looking really strong. We've had this 74 quarter, or 72 marked for a little while, and it hasn't come back down there. But we'll just kind of see how they act, and then materials as well, right, looking fairly strong. So should be an interesting day today. I'm thinking, mostly balanced, but anything is possible. Did I just clicked on it? You can see the market kind of turning lower here. I haven't seen any news. About 5 minutes. All right, now we're ready. Got about 4 minutes until the market opens up. Good morning, Jason. After the market opens, we have FOMC member Williams on at 10 o'clock, so 30 minutes after the market opens. And then we have, oh, that's tomorrow. Hang on. Today, it's not Williams. Who's on today? Today we've got Evans on at, not till 1 o'clock. Well, not really much. We've got some natural gas storage numbers coming out at 10:30, but then we've got Evans coming on at 1 o'clock. Cook, Fed Governor Cook speaks at 1 o'clock as well. Then we got Fed Waller on at 5 o'clock tonight, and then Mester at 18:30. So 6:30 p.m. Eastern time after the Globex session opens up. So that might be an interesting trade tonight, the Globex session. Morning, Dad. Might be able to see if there's some opportunity in the overnight session here.
I'm showing a Bank of Canada speaker at 11:35. You see that? I don't know who the hell he is, but it has a
Uh,
red flag.
I do see that at
Yeah,
the
11:35. I'm not sure
Macklem.
what he's gonna say, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's showing red, so I don't know if it's important.
it's Canada. It's not important. Just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean the Canada is just so fucked. Like they are looking like the US in 2008 right now, to be honest with you guys. Like their economy is just not looking good. They're having a legit housing crisis starting to develop, and it's not looking ideal. Something I
Yeah,
did
I think everybody's in the same boat. I mean, no matter what they want to tell you, everybody's in the shitter. Shit.
yeah.
It'll definitely spill over. There's no way it won't.
Yeah,
So something
people
I
could stay afloat longer, whatever. Go ahead. Sorry.
something I did want to show before the market opens here. So this is the ES on the daily chart, but it's a 24-hour chart, so it includes Globex. We can kind of see like we had these two big bars moved up, and then yesterday, right, kind of settled at the top. It did make a higher high, but kind of just settled. And then so today's session, really those levels of yesterday's session are gonna be the key here, right? So if we don't breach yesterday's session, and you can kind of see where that top is at, so as it comes down, buyers, they should be stepping up to bring this thing back up. And we did get weaker job numbers today, or unemployment numbers today. Uh, or no, it was jobless claims. Yeah, continuous jobless claims was elevated, so 219,000. So more people are claiming unemployment. Um, and that's kind of what the Fed is looking for. And so then it goes back to that whole, they're going to tighten and blah blah blah, and that's supposed to be good for the economy, or they're going to ease. I mean, all right, here's the open. Zoom it in. We're open up above that 77 here and start to catch some action. Back down. But look at the breath, right? Fairly muted breath. Oh, it's getting a little bit negative here early on. The tick opened up pretty low in comparison to where the settle opened up, right? We opened up below 1,000, but not really, not really that low. Epoch's up here, 3801. It'll be interesting to see if, last night we had that poor high in the overnight session. If these buyers are wanting to kind of, show some strength here. You had that kind of tapering, and then the market just kind of trickled down overnight. But we know overnight sessions are weaker hands, so there could have just been that seller that's kind of been out here unloading inventory for, extended period of time here. So yeah, breath kind of mixed. We're seeing healthcare and consumer staples look kind of weak. But remember, we're watching communications and or consumer discretionary and communication services. If they look strong and the rest of the market looks okay, there's good opportunity to continue this move to the upside here.
You look at ETH.
Yeah.
I got into a bad long at 1365. Probably wasn't the best. It went way up, and then I didn't get out. I should have started coming down pretty fast. It dropped like 20 points in about 10 minutes. Basically even right now.
Yeah, so it finally came up to that kind of trend line that we were watching here yesterday, and it's basically sitting at that top of that balance. So if it, I mean, if ETH continues to show strength and you keep seeing the strength in the market, we should be good to continue on up. And I think that target after it breaks up is, you know, probably that 1400 level. It seems like a real psychological level. You know, we do have some levels up here, like the 1391 is kind of right at that resistance level, and then
1420 was a good one too.
this 1402, and then yeah, these lows up here, yeah, 1419, 1420 would be a good spot to target as well. Yeah, I kind of had a little spillerooski there, but it's looking pretty good. It's up above balance today and kind of breaking that downtrend even after a look below and came back up. So I think you're probably okay. Where are you long from?
1365.
Okay, so you're right about even right now.
Yeah, just a little bit up. So cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So markets trades right up to the settle. Well, let me look at this quick. A little bit of volume right there. Up above. There we go. They fixed that weak high. This is an area yesterday that kind of acted as a support. It acted as a little bit of resistance, and then when we had that pullback in what period was that? That pullback in J period. This is kind of where the market acted as a little bit of support, and then you know K and L kind of took the highs here. I don't know if you guys ever, you know, do this, but when we have balance, I like to kind of merge the profile just to kind of see what we get here, and you can kind of see we're right at that point of control of the merge profile, right? And it does kind of look like you know, looks like the market wants to get a little bit of continuation here. A little short covering right here, it looks like. A lot of volume coming up here right below yesterday's settle. Seems like the, you know, mechanical seller's trying to move down here a little bit. the low of yesterday, right off of the half back. It's almost like the same trade as yesterday, but to the upside. Yesterday we took a nice short off the settle. Today, a nice long, really off the open for me, but um, a little look below right to that level, that 37.77 has just been such a key level in this 2-day balance, and it seems to be continuing into today. See the weighted AD is kind of just hanging out, really not making any directional moves so far. Seeing the breadth has flipped to green, but we're still pretty mixed, right? Healthcare is red, consumer staples are red, but consumer discretionary and communications are looking actually pretty strong, both up about 0.5. One's above, one's below, but relatively close. Financials looking pretty muted. There they go red. Oh, interesting look today. Energy's looking strong. Utilities looking weak. The VIX is actually kind of popping up here a little bit. Just cracked the 29. Right, that pullback right there was right to the half back of today's profile. So just remember that 37.86. So that's right where this little pop up was from. That's basically telling us we've got mechanical buyers so far early in the market. And then something I've been kind of back testing here. We have I talked about this the other day, the initial balance and kind of how we've been looking back at it. So we had this initial balance here, another initial balance the next day, kind of moved lower, but price finished higher. That's kind of bullish, right? Initial balance, price finish higher, that's kind of bullish. And then today we have initial balance above here, and market is moving up. And this is why I was talking about pre-market, that I'm kind of leaning to the upside cautiously, just because of it. Just that's what it looks like the market wants to do, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what we're trying to decipher, is what the market is trying to do versus what it's actually doing, and if it's doing a good job, as Jim Dillon would say. Looks like my algo is about to get into a long here pretty soon too. So you had all that volume come in right there on the 95. You remember that level from this day here, from was that Tuesday? How big that 95 level was. All right, the bot got into a long. Yeah, it should be though. Goes. A lot of big trades coming up here. 270 lots just traded on the 0150. We're kind of seeing everything switch back to green here. So the breath is starting to pick up to the upside. Look at the NASDAQ breath jumping up big. Consumer staples almost back to green. Utility is the only thing lagging. And look at, we're seeing consumer discretionary up 72, communications up 94, right? These are the two that we are looking for to be strong today to get this continuation here to the upside. And so far we're seeing it. And you know, there's no reason to fight it. Nasdaq's looking really strong. Nasdaq's the leader today. Actually, Russell's doing really well too. Dow's kind of lagging behind. Mm, That's what we like to see here. So like I said, my algo got into a long, and it's targeting the 20. Actually, the 1975 is its target here. Well, look at all the volume that came in on the top right here. A little bit of absorption up here from that Globex point of control. Let's see if the market does a little bit of backing and filling here. Just trades right through that weak spot. So that's a key thing to note here.
Mean that you think it'll go higher?
No. So basically, what I mean is, like, if buyers were being more aggressive, they would fill this in. So they wouldn't let price come back down to volume. So that's either telling us that buyers are being a little bit less aggressive, or sellers are being more aggressive and kind of pushing responding to a higher price.
Oh, I got you.
And we just kind of peaked above yesterday's value area here. So didn't really get a ton of rotation, so that's not really the ideal situation there as far as getting that continuation. And it may need to do a little bit of backing and filling. Yeah, there's a little bit of supply overhead for sure. See the breath cooling a little bit here as well. Really kind of stuck back on this 8304.50 here. Covered early. We got 1105, 1175. Good shit, bro. Good shit. A request on your own stream, your volume is low. It was much higher in the TPO stream. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that because like I have the volume pretty much all the way up. Let me see. I turn it up a little bit like that. Does that help? Tiny bit. A little bit of a pushback here, back towards the settle here. Remember that 80 was 86, I think it was 86 half. Remember that was a weak spot. So if the market gets close to that 86 half, expect to see a break from there and a push below the open. It's clear on your end? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it too loud because then in the stream on the YouTube it'll just seem like I'm screaming. But I do want everyone to be able to hear.
Yeah, mumble screamer.
Mumbler. Coming right back down to that VWAP here. What's up, Pop? 92, like 93 basically is the VWAP. Right at the settle. So this 95 level has been a pretty big level as well. You know, we see it on Tuesday how big it was. Interesting that the weighted AD is getting pretty weak here and looks like it wants to, you know, it's like almost trying to flip negative. Healthcare's coming back to flat. You can see communications and consumer discretionary. There they go. There's some buying. A decent little bounce off the settle there. It looks like they finally found some buyers or some sellers started to just cover some shorts there. And the key here really would be if we can get some rotations above yesterday's value, that should pretty much put us in line to test yesterday's high, at least that Globex poor high, which is only a couple of ticks away from the prior day high. Should be ideal for the outcome. A little bit of struggling there. You guys see that right at the 3,800, some selling right up a psychological level. I guess right above it. Breath is cooling here. Right, that Nasdaq breath really picked up a big influx into the Nasdaq for a second, and has since kind of cooled down. Healthcare is trying to come down here a little bit. Tech is pulling back to the VWAP. So is discretionary. Financials just barely hanging on. Communications back at the VWAP. Industrials looks the same. Energy looks like the strongest sector so far. Even if I ban these bots, like they just come back. I don't understand. Definitely looking weak on some of your indicators. I don't know. I mean, you see the Nasdaq breath picking back up. The NYSE looks kind of weak, but the tick, tick is pretty balanced. But I mean, there goes those stops on the 1 minute box here. Now we're back above where all the volume came in. I think if we can get back above really that 3807 and start getting in some rotations, that high is pretty much on the zone. What's showing you the weakness, TJ?
Looking at like RSI and the bearish divergences starting to build. So it just kind of depends on what kind of day it's going to be. If it's a rotational day and we start getting those, then we'll just rotate down. If we have a lot of shorts trapped underneath us, and we start, like say a trend day or something like that, it'll look weak like that all day because it's forced buying from the shorts, and we just keep slowly grinding up. So just kind of something I'm keeping in mind.
Yeah.
Because we definitely have had shorts trapped the last couple of days, so it could definitely turn into that.
Yeah, like they're done buying their positions back, and so there's no more buyers left.
But on like trend days and stuff like that, you'll get a lot of bearish divergences along the way because it's normally shorts covering, so it shows lots of selling and different stuff. So you have to be mindful, like not to be shorting on trend days, even though everything is saying you should short. You have to know like the scenario, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's a good key note of information as well. Like, if most of the upside has been caused by shorts covering, so old business, and the old business is complete, right? Let's say all the old business, they're done buying their positions back, so they're out of the market. That could be, an indication that there is no buying left here, right? And that would kind of line up with this poor high here, saying that there was really no buyers up here. Market kind of just died out, traded 87 contracts on the top, and gonna have to auction a little bit lower to find those responsive buyers, right? We know there's some responsive buyers down here, and then probably back down in here, but if the buyers are willing to step up is kind of yet to be seen. So yeah, that's a good point. We're seeing the breath start to cool again. Market's back to the VWAP. And that A low is very suspect, right? Right on that half back, and really watching this 86 level. That was a suspect level from earlier. Look at the weighted AD. Pretty much trying to flip red here. There it goes. A little bit of red. Watch this 86 level. If this 86 level breaks, I think this thing goes back down below the halfback. Breadth is flipped negative. Look at the tick really selling down here. This 86 level here, this is kind of where I saw buyers come in early. There goes the 86. Let's see if these sellers move down and start to fill this in. Remember, we have a suspect low here at the 37.77. We're bouncing around this 86 level. You can see healthcare is flipped red. Consumer staples picking up some steam to the downside. The NYSE's gone red. Here comes B period. See if we're going to get extension of this A low. Remember, this A low is a weaker level. Just because of how mechanical it is, right? It's very mechanical. Right off yesterday's halfback. Failure to break the open, though, and failure to kind of fix this poor low would show a little bit of strength. It looks like it wants to go, though. There it goes. There goes the open. They should clean this up here. Yeah, seller's still moving down here. Big volume coming in on the 80 here. They're really selling into this 80. That's interesting. A lot of lots traded right here. 2,300. You can see 2,900. These are all trading on the bid here. 2,900 lots trading on the bid. There it goes. They gave it up. Big orders trading there. We had 3,000 lots trade right there. 3,000, almost 3,500, or a little bit over 3,500. So the next target down, really, besides the Globex low, is going to be that value area low 54. We had that look above value, couldn't get those rotations, and then boom, push down. Almost the same trade as yesterday, 90 points on the NQ off the overnight high. Good shit, bro. Got our first little trend line you can watch on the ES here. 2 lots, 9.25 points. Good stuff. Yeah, I took a quick one. I got 2 lots, 3 points. I just took them from the open to the half back. All those lots that traded right there that on the 80 really started to. I wasn't sure if they were going to catch the bounce or if they were finally going to break, because we've seen it a couple of days where just like they pound it, and then it goes down, then comes back, and I wasn't really willing to sit through the rotation there. We'll call a little nice one, not too bad. Why'd you say you? Lots nine.
Yeah, I didn't know how to spell it out. I was like, ooh, you know what?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it should have been O's. My bad. Yeah, I didn't get in until 37.77.
Nice, and then just took the breakdown.
Yeah, I had a little level I was watching right there. I guess it was probably the X low from overnight. I was waiting for those stops to come out, and I just kind of caught that, and then tried to let it breathe for a second, and then took profit.
I was watching that 86 level, and I was figuring if we broke that 86 level that we'd probably take that half back, but the way it was acting at 86 just kind of spooked me out, so I didn't take it.
Yeah, the way that orders have just been hitting in this area up here around this 3,800, like they'll just be loading up a level, even though like on the DOM it didn't say there was 1,000 orders sitting there,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's messed me up a couple times. I had a great position yesterday, and I started seeing that, and I was like, no, get out, because they can just easily slap it against you 5 or 6 points,
Right. Yeah, and then stop you out, and then go your way, and then it's just gonna piss you off even more.
Yeah.
Bitbeard, what's up, man? What'd you say? Check out BTC on the 4-hour. Check it out. Oh yeah, looking pretty toppy there. Hitting. More liquidation here. Remember that level down. You've got 64 is that overnight low, and then value area low is 53. I mean, really, you just got to watch this excess. I mean, look at the excess on the 4-hour. So if you do get into a short here and it doesn't break this 19,800, you've got to get out, in my opinion. That's the first take profit, 19,800. Nice. Jason, you can trade crypto futures, right? This is a Bitcoin futures chart. So if you were looking to trade crypto or wanting to trade crypto, you can still trade crypto with a futures account. Because I know you're trading the NASDAQ. It's definitely still possible to do that. Looking at TJ's box here, we have excess on both sides now. Right, you've got a little bit of excess above, a little bit of excess below, so kind of have your key levels to watch for.
Yeah, that break at the top there, the wick to the upside back tested the spot that I was getting short from, which I guess technically would be the A low. So it's kind of interesting too that back tested the A low on that wick, and then we came down, but Honestly, I think we got some shorts covering down here off this overnight low.
And you have the you have this A low area as a like a box marked on your charts.
Well, from before the open, it's not like a box. It's just like a line of the 1 minute candles.
Hmm.
I guess we're calling that a box. It's from the X low. If you open the overnight up, see how the A.
Oh,
So on the
okay.
open came right down to the X low, couldn't take it, and traded all the way up. So when we broke the A low, which was also the X low, that was the stop run I was looking at. And then basically we came back up, back tested that level, and then we've traded down since then. So yeah, like you said, we're still in a box. It could really go either way, depending on how much short covering we get down here. Looks like yesterday's profile also has a lot of volume right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That this X low and the A low are right here, yesterday's half back. And this is kind of letting us know that these sellers are a little bit more aggressive now, and we're starting to see the breadth pick up to the opposite side here. For that, Jason, really the only thing that you can do is, do the research. All right, Zoe, have a good night. You'd have to just back test it yourself, like manually, or if there's a program that would pull that data for you, specifically. You'd really have to just kind of run it yourself. I know with Sierra charts, you can kind of print something out. Um, Not sure where it's at. I'll have to look for it. Um, but I'm not sure where you would where it's at. I swear I've seen it before where it, like, pulls up um oh, here it is. It's on the main screen spreadsheet. I'd have to reattach my like this. Or we're still trying to trade down here. Or when Still breaking the lows here, so we're back below that Globex low. Oh, full little 180 there, little fake out pop, lock and drop. Where the fuck is this thing? Now it's gonna bother me. I'll just look it up. Yeah, I mean, the best thing that you could do, honestly, would be to go back and enter the numbers yourself. Just make an Excel formula, which is pretty easy. And if you have issues with Excel, just Google that shit. It's pretty easy on Google. It would do you some justice on Google pretty easily, and then um just go from there. Honestly, Jason, that's what I would do. And that's kind of what I've been doing with the initial balance, because I've really been kind of looking up initial balance, because I know it's like not really utilized or not really respected as much anymore as it used to be back in the day. And I've always wanted to kind of see, well, just recently I've kind of been getting more into it. Kate, what's up? Oh, here we go. And coming back down to the low here. A little bit of a bounce, short starting to cover. It looks like we're right there, right below yesterday's Globex low. So we kind of expect some responsive buying, right? Some people have hit their trade. They're covering down here for some profit. Okay, so here it is. This is kind of what it looks like. It's exporting the historical data, but it'll kind of give you the levels here. So you can see like value area high, value area low, and I mean it's doing it per bar, so you'd have to go back and edit it. That's why I said like Sierra charts would be the best bet for that to give you what you're looking for. So watch this half back level. It's been a big level to 77. We saw some shorts cover on the low. It's not really anything. That wasn't Excel. No, that was just like the Sierra charts version of it. But to import to Excel, I'd have to turn off the data to do it. So I just didn't do it. A little bit of volume moving down here below. We're starting to see, the breadth not really too strong here. But we did see all of the sectors basically flip from green to red besides energy. Still inside yesterday's range, didn't make it quite down to that value area low. So that's also kind of an interesting note to see if these sellers are willing to move down and kind of backfill this area here to see if they're going to target that value area low, because they looked above, they got above that value area high from yesterday, and weren't able to hold it up there. And so now that's really their target. They busted the Globex low, so they've sucked in these stops from the Globex session, looking to see if they can pop down here below. Yeah, so what I was looking at for initial balance really is just kind of like how to measure strength, not really like how it trades against itself, but just to show kind of like, I mean, like here we see, pretty much a short covering profile, but price did finish up at the high above initial balance. So you can assume that an other time frame trader is entering the market here, right? Initial balance is here, price finishes above, so we can assume another time frame trader is here, right? Initial balance so far is here. Depending upon where price finishes, we'll get some opportunity to kind of understand about about the other time frame trader, which is always who we're trying to identify. We haven't seen the volume move down really yet, right? We've got this 11K volume up here, so volume does look relatively light. We are starting to see some volume form below this 77 level here. Now you're starting to see the breadth pick up. Pretty much every sector except energy is red, and that's a risk off look. And weighted AD's looking down. Apple's kind of turning over here. Amazon as well. Google, Nvidia, Tesla down 1.66. Oops. All right, so Tesla has kind of this risk off look as well. Like some more shorts covering off that same level.
Yeah, one thing I was just kind of looking at was if you look at yesterday's profile, we got like those Brad prints in F between E and G. And the day before that, H came down on the inventory correction and filled that same spot on the day before that one. You see like where H came down into the A period.
Yeah.
And like it got soaked up again from short covering. And then the overnight auction all the way down got soaked up right there in short covering. So I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to watch this area and see. We must have heck of shorts stuck.
I mean, that gap below is still pretty big. I mean, still a 20 point move, or still 20 points of a gap, even with the big move down yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, if we had a lot of supply, we should be going and filling the gap.
Right, exactly. Fairly easily too.
So it's interesting that we have all these references coming to the same spot, you know, and kind of getting bought up.
And that's kind of why I'm thinking like that there's a buyer in the market, or this move up, this kind of balance looks a little bit more like it's leaning to the upside just because of where price is finishing at the end of the day. Like, and yesterday was like, what do they call this? A bullish engulfing bar. But I don't know if a bullish engulfing has to finish above the previous day's high, but it looked below and then looked above as well, but finished inside value. Just showing a little bit less aggression, less an initiative up here at the high, but there is a lot of responsive buying, and that's a key. That's a good eye, TJ, right there.
Thank you. Yeah, yesterday I feel like the shorts were probably like, oh yes, it's gonna come down, and then like as soon as they started feeling like, oh shoot, I feel like everybody just started running in. It created that huge run back up.
Yeah, like they got trapped again.
Like they were trying to let it come back to them, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like all the people that were trapped. So we didn't have the buying pressure right off the beginning. But it definitely came in. I mean, that was a heck of a rip. That was a long time to one time frame.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much one time frame for the rest of the day, honestly. Like the J period barely
Long
broke
distance.
the I, yeah. Yeah, it was almost like 70 points, I think. Let's see. What was that low? 34, and then all the way up to the 20. So, yeah, I'm almost, 90 points, yeah. Yeah. And all the way up to the 20. Oops. Oh, these bots are just in here heavy today. You read many articles on initial balance, different ways to incorporate it into your trading method. Also, can you provide different insight into the day type, strength of move? We will BO or not. I mean, like, so different day types, and this is something trying to collect all the MGI. That's, yeah, I mean, that's awesome too. And that's, it's helpful because, you know, I didn't even think about that. And so now I'm kind of like, well, you know what? I think I'm gonna buy. You know, like I was, you know, thinking like, oh, all right, we're gonna go down value area low, and now I'm kind of like, I don't think so. So that's really good eye, and that's what this is all about. That's what this channel is all about. Is like, you know, helping each other out. We're all here to learn and grow together. So, you know, I really do appreciate the insight, and you know, I know TJ really is kind of like the only one really that speaks up a lot. But if you guys have information that you want to bring to the table, don't think like we're just gonna be like, oh, that's fucking stupid, you know, don't ever talk again. That's just not how we are here. We're always looking to improve and always looking for that perspective. Unless it's Jared, then if it's Jared, we'll just say, shh. But you know, everybody else is free game. But as far as day types go, right? Day types they're a bit finicky. I do think it's important to study day types, and I do think that can kind of help you as far as identifying who's in control, but that's more of a delayed indication, right? Because you can't really tell what kind of day type it's going to be until the day is over, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. You can kind of assume and use your imagination, which we always like to try to do, this to try to decipher what kind of day it's going to be, but not necessarily you know, not necessarily a definitive thing that you can kind of trade off of. In the course, I do focus on day types and kind of which day types are more bullish and which day types are more bearish, and the indication, the not indications, but like the current situations that would make it that way. But it really just depends on, you know, current market conditions. You know, like I'd love to say like, okay, when we have a buying tail, you buy the buying tail, right? Unless it breaks. But if it doesn't break the buying tail, then you should just be buying the buying tail. And you know, that's that's a great suggestion in a market that's trending to the upside. But for us in this market, the market really is trending down long term, short term, or medium term, and then short term, yeah, we've kind of popped up and we've got these sellers trapped below us. Um, but it's really undetermined on if this thing is going to keep going or if we're going to pound downside once again. There it goes, breaks the low, ticks hitting below 1,000. I appreciate it, Jason. Yeah, I mean, I've listened to a couple of the YouTubers and stuff, and sometimes I'm just like flabbergasted with how much most of their stuff just seems like bullshit. Not all of it, of course, but good decent amount. Weighted AD starting to get negative. We're starting to, have kind of a trend down type of feel, and we're opening up with some single prints again, just like yesterday. What the fuck? I keep doing it. Big buy order on the 5975 100 lot order. 998 lots sitting on that low. Little short covering pop right there. Did we lose sound? No, it should be still good.
I got you.
Yeah, we're kind of having, kind of seems like one of those days. Still inside yesterday's area. We're back kind of in that area that TJ was talking about right now, trying to fill it in. And it is like a weak part of the structure, right? We do have a very limited volume in this area. And so the market may just be wanting to build the structure here. You can see, volume comparatively is really light here. Comparatively here, really light. Only have that A excess period. Um, relatively light volume up here as well. Traded in there as well today. All right, Jason, have a good day, man. So poor low starting to form here. We had 998 contracts trade right on that low tick, all on the bid. Back down to the low here. Imagine they want to clean this up. And the next level down would be that value area low, that 54. There they go. Look to see if they get volume below here. We've got a weak spot 59.50. If they don't get back above 59.50, this thing should keep going. But if they do get back up to it, we're covering, but looks like they're trying to move down to offer this thing. And how long does it take to have a valid POC for the current day? What do you mean, Martin? T1 night low is 57 on the Globex. A very rotational market. It gets back above that level we were just talking about. A little bit of short start to cover here, but a very kind of choppy market. We've seen kind of flushes here, but not really a ton of continuation. It's kind of flushed and then popped back up and then built back up and then flushed again and then built back up and flushed again. The breadth is picking up though here. You got a 4-to-1 breadth here. We've got a pretty negative weighted AD.
Yeah, on a day like today where you got like say you got shorts trapped below you, it's like hungry sharks, right? You want to be careful on any breakout trades to the downside. It'd be safer to catch a responsive if you're wanting to get short, just for anyone, listening or whatever.
Right.
You don't want to be shorting straight into a bunch of people covering. For me, I'm kind of watching this box that I have at that A low, and all that inventory that we might have trapped above it off the open. If that single print right there, if those hold, then I think shorts could see that we have supply and we trend down. Or this area that we're in now, like if shorts keep covering down here, and we end up filling those single prints below A, then that just might give us a little information on which way we might end up going, but could definitely be rotational. I think it's going to be kind of choppy while we're in this battleground of, them figuring out everybody's, you got people on both sides. It's going to be choppy.
Right. Yeah, we're still inside yesterday's value area too, so people are still, trying to buy the low of this value area. I heard one dude say OCC not valid till 2 o'clock. The point of control is not valid till 2 o'clock. I mean, honestly, the point of control is really not valid until till it's closed. That's how you know like where the point of control is going to finish at. You know, like right here we have developing point of control lower, right? So we've got, you know, value 2 and 2, right? So we had value up higher, two TPOs, and now we have it moving down. And the key here, you know, that 70 level had so much volume before they actually broke it. Now we've got a little buying tail on the low, and you know, we just monitor to see if everything is going to keep agreeing with the downside, or if there's going to be, you know, a break above, right? We're back inside of initial balance and still inside yesterday's value, so we weren't able to get back below yesterday's value. We're still seeing some responsive buying down here. The key thing is kind of like TJ's talking about, like, is this responsive buying that's happening down here shorts covering, or is it actual buying? Because if it's just shorts covering, that's why it's not lasting, right? If it's just shorts covering, it's old business transacting, and you know, you get these little rotations, especially while we're inside the previous day's range, because there is some retail traders buying for sure. And then from there we start to see, you know, okay, the market's gonna, you know, gonna rotate back up. Are these sellers gonna move back down and offer it again? As of right now, value's still over, I mean, it's inside value, but we're starting to see value shift lower, right? Volume has shifted lower. So sellers should continue to move down, and really it should get that price back below the B low if they want any sign of continuation, because they are going to need some old business of longs liquidation, which it seems like we've had a couple of times. We had a couple liquidations already happen.
Doesn't this look a little bit like yesterday, though? We had the single print and B to C, then we couldn't get much tempo below, and then eventually ripped back up. If you kind of, you know, got stuck in those, in the gap and then moved up a
Definitely.
little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It does look very similar.
Yeah, because I was kind of looking to see if we can get back above the open and then get it and try to go from there and try to see if we can hit that B high. It might take a while.
I think if we get above the 77 here, you'll probably be good. You might get a little rotation at the open, but you know, you've got this weak spot here right above that half back, and the half back was a little bit lower before we had this kind of or a little bit higher, excuse me, before the extension, and that was kind of right off the B open, was right off that half back. So
Yeah, that was. Yeah, because it just looks a lot like yesterday. We're still above T2 low too. So
Peter, I don't know if you've seen that screenshot I posted in the futures channel yesterday, but that'll be what you can look for if you're wanting that play, like the mean reversion play. Is we'll come up, deal open, it'll come back down to retest, and then that's when you can look for your low risk entry with a tight stop, and then you have your targets to the upside.
yeah, I saw that yesterday. I thought that looked real good. Appreciate you posting that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Trying to help any way I can, you know. No, this stuff ain't easy.
No, it definitely
Thankful
is
for
not.
Brad leading the way, leading from the
Grateful
front.
for everybody's help.
right. Yeah, Bitbeard, we're in a Zoom every day, all day, by myself. No match. You seen that Kevin Hart stand up? That's like the original. Yeah, so there you go. It just pops above volume here. C comes right up to the B half back. Little mechanical selling there. Now we have, you know, kind of two mechanical highs, really, I think.
Have a good day, man.
And we'll see. The breath is cooling a little bit. I'd really like to see if if there's strength, really, they should bust that 77. That's kind of like like I said, it's it's like a rope or a tug of war that they're playing, and that's really the center line. So like right now, while as price is below, you can kind of see the sellers are in control still, but if it pops above, that can make some weaker sellers nervous, and then you could start to see a little bit more short covering or something in that nature. Oh, fuck. Oops. Sorry, I was trying to close that extra TPO chart that I duplicated. X. Oh, no. Green screen. All my screen's backgrounds are just solid green. Some coffee and freshly baked biscuits. You don't drink tea, Dr. VJ? Are you're English, right? I thought you're English. No, Tommy's over there drinking that tea. Basically like dirt and water mixed together. Heat it up. You know, actually, in the Northeast, they like their tea. My mother-in-law, she drinks tea every day. She loves it. I like tea if it's cold and has a bunch of sugar in it.
Sweet tea, absolutely.
And defeats the purpose of it. But yeah, Bitbeard, if you're in the Discord, you know, you can jump in here. Pretty sure you are in the Discord. No freshly baked biscuits, huh? Struggle's real for Tommy.
Be fast, TJ.
There's more confluence, but yeah, everyone get long. TJ's going to the bathroom. We're probably gonna run up. Yeah, so yeah, Bitbeard, if you ever want to jump in here and jump in the chat, you know, more than welcome. So we're seeing the breath cool here a little bit. We're not really seeing a bigger bounce in much of anything else though. So if we look at all the sectors here. You can see tech actually did bounce a little bit, but healthcare is still looking pretty weak. Consumer discretionary, financials, communications actually doesn't look bad. Energy's still looking pretty strong, but for the most part, not really a big bounce from a lot of these things yet. A lot of the sectors. So tech's bouncing. There we go. Communications caught a nice little bounce, right? Just needed some motivation apparently. Back to our tug of war level. Right here we should be good to go. I think there should be some stops that come out and take that open. That's what we were looking for. Let's take that B high. Okay, TJ goes to the bathroom. We all get long. Boom, market runs up. Taking one for the team, TJ. I appreciate
We're
it.
gonna give him a complex.
Failing right above that open. Come on, just take the B high already. What are you doing? Back below the open here. A little bit of selling up here, and it looks like the buyers kind of failed up here. Wow, thanks guys. Looking to back test that 72-ish. I'd like to see it hold this 77, to be honest. That's where I'd really like to see the market hold. Come on, take the B high. We all know you want to. A lot of volume coming in here around the open. This is similar to yesterday, right? We got a lot of volume around that open yesterday. What was it, like just below? Like right here, 11,000 volume. And we're about the same right here, but this one's right on the open. You're breaking that uptrend here, or the downtrend, excuse me, from that kind of big move down on the minute chart here. Right to the VWAP. $86. Yeah, 86 was that level on the way down that broke. Yeah, let's see if they flip their bias here and turn into some sellers. Not a huge fan of if it goes below the 77. I'd like to see it hold above 77. Look at the weighted AD, really cooled off on this big move. Let's see if it goes back to positive, this thing probably rips up. But if it can't get back to positive, that's just showing us that that bounce is not really on any strength and probably on short covering. You can see healthcare still down. Financials are just, basically flat. Consumer discretionary is trying to go green. It looks like they're giving it the old college try here. Nasdaq's almost back to green here. Nasdaq's leading the charge for sure. Nasdaq's almost flat. You got the ES down 0.3, the Russell down 0.3, and the Dow down 0.3. Dollar here is getting close. Tried that 112 area, and that's kind of that level where we're watching this 112. Let's go ahead and just put a mark right here, because if this thing hits 112, probably going down. All right, I'll be back after this quick commercial break. Nice. Come back and market just did exactly what it was supposed to do. So good for it. Now let's see if we can get a little bit of continuation. Get us back up to that settle. Big buy order at the 87.75, 138 lots, and here comes D period, and we're opening up with some Brad prints right below here. Let's see if we can hold them or if they're going to close right away. So if this thing does rotate back down, let's say below 70, the 37.70, it is going to kind of give that feeling that most likely you probably get a little bit of continuation below the B low, below the C low. Did the C low make the low? Yeah, C low. Just because on the rally here, and I know we didn't get up to the high, but we really didn't get that push of buying here as far as the sectors go, right? And you're kind of seeing healthcare, healthcare being the second biggest weight in the market isn't really able to get anything going, and consumer discretionary, which was at about 50% when we were trying to move up, is basically just flat. Communications is still looking pretty good. Financials is still flat. But we really want to see some participation in consumer discretionary, and then maybe a little bit less selling in healthcare. I mean, long term, I want to see healthcare still sell, but intraday for the upside, that's what it's going to take. The tempo picked up to the downside, you mean? When we were down there?
Price action just getting more jumpy.
Oh, right now, yeah. And it seems like these rallies are kind of just on the back of the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ is green when pretty much the other four or the three, the ES, the Russell, the Dow are all red here. And the Dow's actually looking pretty weak. Look at the tempo's picking back up to the downside. So this is kind of like, I mean, it just, little razzle dazzle that they're trying to play with us here.
Yeah, we'll see if it breaks the bottom of that box that it put in right here.
Yeah, that 77. Really like the kind of the tug of war zone here. And Nasdaq's looking really similar, like it's coming right back down to a very similar spot. And it might be easier here with this, so people can kind of see the boxes a little bit easier. It's on the candles because you can kind of see it. I have the bars on the other screen, so I'll be.
Yeah, I got both as well. Got one with candles and bars.
Yeah, the reason I switched the daily to the candles, if you guys looked at the trade view, was for some reason it was showing a downtick. Cover this up real quick so you can see. Here's the bars. Is on the extended hours though. So you can see like the bars here showed a green bar, but when you switch it to the the bar, it turned it to red, even though the open was here and the close was here. And I just didn't want anyone to get kind of confused.
Yeah, what in the world? It shouldn't even be red.
Yeah, I think it's just because of where it closed in relation to the open of the other, or the close of the other bar, so it closed below the previous day's close. Like the settle was 94 and the previous day's settle was like 03.
Interesting.
A little trend line break right there. Now we can kind of run this trend from the high here. So peak below that 77, a little pop back up here. And so here's a key and something that I'll be looking for as the market kind of draws down here. Is it going to be able to get below that 70? That's where all the volume is at. And when it does get below this 70, are we going to see buy order 78, 184 lots? Are we going to see our weighted AD make a lower low, or at least get down close to this previous low? That would show that there's some selling in the overall market here. But for the most part, like we said, really what's holding us down is healthcare. Staples are actually picking up a little bit of steam, but they're not near their low yet. But healthcare is really the sector that's looking the weakest, and it's the second biggest sector in the market here. And to really convince me of, that this upside bounce was real, and like I said, I was looking for the long, took the long on the morning, but this is why we have to adjust to current market conditions, and right now, and this is why we have that 77 as kind of our long above, short below, but right now we're kind of seeing like this bounce didn't really give us that move, right? And if we look back at yesterday, here, you look back right here, and this is at 12:30, and so 12:30 would be what, would 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30 here when we broke that high, right? The weighted AD flipped to positive, showing buying strength. We still had a negative breath pretty much all day yesterday because of the gap down, but the weighted AD, the weighted sectors, the sectors that matter, started to go positive. So if we can get a positive weighted AD, that could really really kind of help us as far as confidence into the long trade. But for right now, it's still a tough spot, to be like, oh, I'm gonna get long here because we got these mechanical DC high, just because this bounce is not really agreeing with what happened with price as far as the weighted sectors go, and these weighted sectors make up the S&P 500.
Yep. Yeah, that DC is kind of like a weak high, in my opinion. And it's right against that volume we put in A period, and it lines up perfectly with POC from yesterday. So I'd definitely like to see it get over that level if we're wanting upside.
Right.
This could definitely roll over from there and rotate, test the lows again.
I agree. Yeah, I think the odds right now, as we're sitting here basically in the middle of the profile, well, middle of yesterday's profile, halfback today is here, but I think the odds are definitely favoring the downside, and as price gets down to here, I think we'll be able to kind of confirm or deny. Yeah, 5 green, 6 red. That is correct. Holding 57 was good for the Bulls, 30-point drive. Now PB. So we've got a mechanical D high and a mechanical D low here. But the odds favor the D low breaking so far. And so here's kind of my theory, right? Let's while we're just hanging out. My theory with these initial balances finishing higher, so this is a +1 profile, another +1 profile. Here we have the initial balance. If the price finishes lower, we get that -1, but we don't necessarily have you know, real conviction yet. And tomorrow with that non-farm payrolls, that can kind of be that backbreaker or top popper. And so my theory is really is today's close can give us a little bit more insight. So if today's close is up above here, even if it doesn't break that prior high, but it just closes up here, if that 12 to 16 level, I think overnight we probably shit the bed again, like we've been doing every overnight, and make a little peak below during the A period, and then that's just going to be the ripper if we can get that close up here, because basically what that will be saying is that the buyers are being more aggressive. And this is, like I said, it's just me kind of going back and looking at this, looking at the initial balances and the closes compared to the initial balances. That's the fuck is that? You can see so I combined all the Globex sessions from this move up. We can kind of see where it really kind of steps up here, and that's right where we put in volume today. That's that same F period where those Brad prints were at, kind of same idea here, and then died in that low volume area. So back below that 77. Financials picking up some steam here to the downside. Well, not back to their low though. Dollar's getting really close to that 112 level. It's up at 1190. If we get below that 3770 and the dollar hits above that 112, I am gonna probably assume that the low is gonna go. Still a mechanical D low. Just a reminder, the market is closed on Monday. It is Columbus Day, or if you're in California, they call it Indigenous Peoples Day, because apparently Columbus Day is racist. So, depending upon where you live, you'll celebrate different holidays. But either way, the fucking market is closed. So, day off. And the market will be open. It'll just be holiday hours, but fairly light volume and honestly not worth trading. I won't be streaming. I won't be trading. My dad's going to be in town this weekend, so we'll be chilling.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
So if I look at the NYSE days that they don't trade, September 5th was the last one, but the next one is Thanksgiving.
Well, they're still going to be, let me see.
I'll send you a link.
Market's open. There just would be like basically no liquidity.
Yeah, it should just be
Pretty sure.
holiday hours, unless they just canceled it as a holiday.
I don't see,
because-
it doesn't even have the asterisk where it says holiday hours. Like sometimes it'll have like different 1, 2, 3, or 4 asterisks, and it'll say,
Stacy said it's not a real holiday.
I didn't say it wasn't a real holiday. I said that it is not
He hates
observed by the
America.
New York Stock Exchange on Monday.
Oh, let me look at this calendar.
You see where you stand, Stacy.
Oh, yeah, I see this. So, Washington, Good Friday.
I think it's an active day. It doesn't even give a half day.
Are banks open?
Yeah, I think it's a federal holiday because my kids are off of school for sure. Yeah, Indigenous Peoples Day, it's renamed, also observed as Columbus Day, second Monday in October. So it's a federal holiday, so the banks are going to be closed. So it, I
Well,
mean,
the
it looks like the
NYSE
market will be open. It'll just be low liquidity. I won't be on either way because my dad's in town, so I won't be
Anyway.
I won't be trading that day.
Just letting you know.
Letting us know that he hates America. I'm just kidding.
Killing me, Smalls.
I couldn't even, like, when in California the kids didn't have the day off. It wasn't it wasn't a day off of school. It was mind blowing.
Yeah, my son's virtual school is still open for Monday.
Where is it based out of?
I don't know. I know that, I think Arizona actually.
Freaking Canada, they don't care.
Virtual reality.
Yeah, it's a virtual school. I don't know, like teachers everywhere.
And then another thing to note here today too, now that we have 4 TPOs and a fairly wide range of 4 TPOs, this decreases the odds of the market turning into a trend day. So just something to note too. So if we do break the low or the high, it does have decreased odds of turning into a trend day.
Volume's also lower from yesterday too. Yesterday was low.
Yeah, yesterday was low. Trying to scam a day off. Columbus Day is just the day that I go pass out blankets to the Italians in Scranton. Roach, I'm coming over to your house. I got a blanket for you. I promise. It doesn't have. What was it? What do they have?
Good. I need a blanket, not a pink one.
This one's got a disease on it though. So if you want smallpox
Oh, I don't want
blankets, there we go.
I'm a germaphobe. I don't want
You get 3% less volume. I got into a deep dark, what do you call it, conspiracy theory hole the other day about how, like the whole like Native American thing is actually made up, and it actually, the people in America were black, and then the U.S. came here and enslaved the black people, or not the U.S., I guess the English. I don't know why everyone blames America. You know what I mean? Like, blame the English. That's who fucking did it. You know? Like, goddamn, fucking English people are just racist. Let's see if this weighted AD can click to positive here. We're starting to get a little bit of a breakout. We broke that downtrend twice now. You know, we redrew it, and it's broken above now here. I can keep switching off the fucking grabber. But it was pretty, I mean, it was pretty interesting. TikTok is basically just all conspiracy theories and aliens and shit. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you get sucked in. Your brain gets tired of the market and you need a little chaos.
Pretty sure every society had slaves back in the day. I mean, everywhere, every big
Oh
part,
yeah,
you know.
the only thing about black people, we had Chinese slaves, we had Irish slaves, and all kinds.
Yeah,
To build the railroads. It wasn't the black people that built the railroads.
no.
Yeah, it was the Irish.
According to what we've been told, anyway, because who the fuck knows, really? You know, I mean, you can look at maps that have over 2,000 miles of railroads going through California and Oregon and Washington before Lincoln ever signed the thing to get the railroads over there. So how did those railroads get there?
The only
I know,
thing the
what do you-
Irish built were gin mills. They
Well,
were
I mean,
too drunk to build any.
they talk about in 1849 they had the gold rush to get to California in their wagons and buggy and stuff. But then there's all kinds of buildings in California that they're in early 1800s that are huge buildings. So I like, where'd those come from?
I'm telling you, it's fucking. I get stuck on there sometimes. I gotta delete the app from time to time because I'll just fucking.
I could same thing.
I get stuck in those conspiracy theories because I'm a big believer, like a big alien follower, and so like, you know, start getting me into the aliens and the pyramids and some of these walls in South America that are fucking cut with a laser that, you know, supposedly only had these primitive tools.
Yeah, they say the pyramids are airtight. They say they're cut so perfect.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the pictures where there's beams of lights coming from a bunch of the pyramids?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've watched Ancient Aliens, Kate. It's good.
No, that's. Although in the later seasons, they kind of just repeat the stuff from the first season, just kind of change it up a little bit. It's kind of the same stuff.
Yeah. I like history a lot. Like I like the mystery of history since we don't really get the truth. Like if you ever watch that show called Hunting Hitler, Tim Kennedy, who's a ex Green Beret Special Forces guy, goes down to South America and discovers, well, I guess he doesn't discover them, but there's a bunch of fucking German villages down there, like a bunch of white people that are just speak German. And even Peter said that you know, he's seen those around, like, and to me that's just, you know, it's kind of crazy. Because German is not a language that's really spoke anywhere except in Germany. It's not like English or Spanish where it's, kind of spoken all over different parts of the world. Just different dialects. German is like that's pretty specific language.
I want to know what's going on in Antarctica. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on down there that apparently we're not allowed to know about because science or whatever they say.
That's where all the aliens are at.
Are they talking German there too?
Actually, they are. What's crazy is that on the day Trump got elected, Biden and a whole bunch of other dignitaries from all over the world were in Antarctica, and then Biden signed another 35-year moratorium where you can't go down there for another 35 years. You'd think he'd be at the inauguration, but wasn't.
A little bit of volatility kicking in here. It looks like shorts are trying to cover here. Trying to get a little bit aggressive. But
So I didn't trust my counts earlier because I just switched over to the where it's doing all the tickers. But when you were saying that it was looking like it was going to be heading down, my call counts were 200 plus, and my put counts were like in the double digit range, low double digit range.
oh damn. You got all the
So
tickers back?
Yeah, well, so I switched over to the new method of downloading the data, so I can download all the tickers now, but I have to tweak the data because, of course, I mean, there's just a lot of freaking things to figure out, and so there's data missing, and sometimes it crashes, and so I wasn't 100% certain that it was giving me valid data, but I certainly didn't want to contradict you in the fact that I wasn't sure that my data was even close, but it was showing a lot of freaking call counts compared to the put counts.
Is your bot playing?
No, the bot, so there was actually, the bot would have gotten in a call, but it would have gotten in late. And again, at least with AMD, I'm using my old method because I don't want to fuck with that because it's pretty freaking solid. But it would have gotten in, but there was an issue with the way that it was downloading the data, and so it couldn't get in. I'm thinking it probably would have been best. Right now, based on the page that actually does the tracking, it says it would be about $12 up for a single contract, which is not a lot, but I mean, it may make it back into the profit, and I'll use that as the reference, but the bot did not get in at all. So, but I'll let you know if this thing gets out, I'll let you know that it does. The page, because it's the same thing, it's the same code.
Cool.
Yeah, never worry about like what I'm saying. Like if I'm saying something I can be wrong just as often as I'm right. So
But I don't know if that's the thing is I'm not 100% certain that my data that's downloading is 100% accurate because I'll just say this, I ran both of them yesterday, and obviously the regular day played through, and then at the end of the day, I played the new data through, and the numbers weren't exactly on, and there were some differences, but at the same time, they were close. So I just didn't want to be saying something that I wasn't 100% sure of, and that was why I didn't say anything. But I'm still, right now, call counts are pretty high. I mean, they're in the 100 range, and the put counts are in the 5 range, roughly. My page has an error, and so I can't use it as an example, so I just have to freaking visually add them up. But we're talking, so for call counts, we have 29, 31, 22, 11, and then for put counts, we have 1 3 times. So it's erring on the side of call for sure, based on the counts.
Starting to look like we're holding VWAP up.
yeah, it is. And you're starting to see some of the sectors turn green here too. Communications look up 66, consumer discretionary trying to get green. Healthcare is really just lagging here. It needs to, if healthcare can break out, really it just needs to get above this 126.42 and it should be stops popping. Tech trying to pop back up as well. If that weighted AD goes green, close your eyes and buy the market.
All in.
I really want to play in the World Series of Poker next year.
Don't you have to win like a satellite or two to get into the World Series of Poker?
No, you can just pay
Yeah.
$10,000 to play.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
had a friend of mine that was the goal, and he kept on doing the satellites at the Hard Rock and getting his ass kicked, and then he realized it probably wasn't worth spending more money on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely no, like, you know, a lot of people associate poker with luck, but I mean, it's such a skill. And I don't think I would, you know, win or anything. I just would like to compete. I've been practicing a lot. So.
Yeah, I hear a lot of trading like videos mention poker, you know, just how some of the skills are the same or whatever, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's all
Did you?
probabilities.
Yeah, TJ, did you read that book, Annie Duke, Thinking in Bets?
No, I hadn't heard. I might
Yeah,
have heard of it, but I hadn't read it.
if you read that, you'll get an idea why they talk about it like that. It's an easy read too.
Nice.
You
Yeah, I
ever
think I
watch
might
that
sign up
movie?
for Audible.
That movie Molly's Game. You ever see that?
Yeah,
Pretty good.
that movie is good. I watched that
Yeah, it was
recently.
pretty like true story, and
Yeah.
well, I don't know how true, but it's supposed to be based on true guys. I think Ben Affleck and Woody Collar are supposed to be the guys. I'm not sure though. I think Ben Affleck was supposed to be the big player there. That was a dick,
Yeah.
and I think Leo might have been in or what's his name, DiCaprio or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he might have been there too, but I'm not sure. She never mentioned it. I don't think by name.
Yeah, she just said that it's someone very famous that everybody knows.
Yeah. There was a couple of clues, but I forget. But it was pretty good movie. I was surprised.
Yeah, I watched it because I like that Idris Elba. He's a good actor.
Who's that? The broad or
No, the lawyer, the black
the
guy.
guy? Oh,
Yeah. He plays Chief Boku in Zootopia. I don't know if you've seen Zootopia. That's a really good movie too. But he's in a lot of good
Stringer Bell
movies.
and The Wire.
Yeah.
Stringer Bell.
I mean, he's a good actor, and he does some movies that are just stupid, but he does mostly good movies.
Zootopia, that cartoon movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we went to the movies to see that.
it's actually like really well done. Like
Yeah,
it's a really good movie. Wish they'd make a number two.
yeah. I like all the kids' movies. I thought they were good.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
We're starting to develop these, you know, two mechanical lows here. We got this E low that's mechanical and that D low that's mechanical. D high is just one tick below the settle too, or two ticks below the settle.
I'm done for the day. You guys have a good rest of the
All right, Peter. Catch you later, man.
day.
See,
It's
but
interesting how thin the spot is on the volume profile.
Right, and it's not. I mean, it's like they're backfilling it, little bounce and bounce and bounce. If they hold it, he fights a lion in his new movie. Yeah, what's that new movie called? Beast. That's what it's called. I had a friend named Idris when I was in high school. His last name was Ibangawaganam, and it was like all A's and E's. It was crazy. It had like 13 vowels in his last name. He was from Ethiopia. And it was, I mean, his last name was just crazy. I'm like thinking to myself, like, fuck that. If you had to write that name every single time you put your name on a paper, a pain in the ass.
This thing might break right here. There's a lot of selling into that.
Yeah, but we've got this kind of look up. I mean, definitely, yeah, definitely could, right? We've kind of got like our two half pipes here, little hills starting to form. And I mean, if this doesn't break, it's really showing the weakness of the supply here. This is a low volume area and giving buyers an opportunity to come down here and buy at a fairer price, and no supply is really just, fairly weak look from these buyers or from sellers. Excuse me. Shit, is my fucking shitter frozen?
Yeah, there's a lot of volume on the VWAP right there. It's five candles in a row. Couldn't break that one tick.
Fuck. Yeah, I saw that, Kate. Yeah, and they said that has nothing to do with the threat um of a Putin nuclear attack.
Gonna try it again. Somebody's sitting right there.
It's
They
me.
should get it now. They flushed out a bunch of shorts up there. They should get it now. There was too many shorts in the market there. They got it.
Now let's see if they can hold it. Back to the open. Elo's mechanical again.
POC or my volume POC is right there. Elo.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much.
Man got soaked up. See if that zone flips into resistance now. I'm waiting until we get out of this little area we're in. Just some mixed signals on my end.
Back down to the open here. See if they can clean up this weak level. Volume moves up. Downtrend breaks. So failure to hold above that VWAP. And so here we go. We're kind of in our opportune zone for our setup here. D-low's mechanical. Starting to see the breath pick up. Weighted AD's coming down a little bit. Needs to get a little bit lower here, but we're starting to see the tick come down as well. We want to see agreeance with everything here. I want to see them really kind of force this thing down. Nasdaq's trying to come down as well. Remember, as long as it's above this 77, I still am kind of leaning that buyers are in control or still holding on to control above that 77. Back to the VWAP here. So they're back above that weak volume, so not able to really get anything going there below the open. Healthcare still struggling here. It's a really choppy zone. We're having 5 TPOs wide here, so value is really just kind of sticking. Volume's pretty light. Weighted AD hasn't been able to get anything going yet. You see most of the volume basically just right in the center of the profile. And then you had that kind of responsive buying here down below. So that's why, I'd like to wait to see if we can break that D low. And as this gets down here, if we see a pickup in the breath, pick up in the weighted AD, and some of these sectors start to roll over, we should be decent to get some continuation on the downside. Back below the open.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of looking at that D as like almost like a selling tail or something, like against the settle right there. Is that what you call it on the top? Like if it's on the top of a profile.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how it kind of like against the C and the E, it just kind of looks like, and it was really like a 1 minute candle, I think. I forget looking back at it. It was only up there for like a minute or two. It just got rejected right there. I don't know if anybody trading since E opened up, it's been pretty choppy. Like it's easy to get caught on the wrong side. It's okay to be patient, wait for odds to be in your favor, wait for good risk to reward, high probability. Like, cause I was thinking we were going to go up off short covering, but a lot of my stuff was starting to show like divergences again. So then it's just like a mixed bag, it's like, I'll wait till it all kind of lines up and aim in the same direction.
Yeah, it's kind of like no one's really taking charge, and E period's still sitting inside the D period range here, so the market really just kind of balancing inside of its value. So yeah, there's just no direction yet. Only thing we do have is we are kind of one time framing up here. You know, unless E breaks the D low, but we are kind of one time framing up here. I mean,
Sounds like a
just
good time for me to get my pool closed.
oh, you haven't
Water's
closed it.
freezing.
You haven't closed it up yet.
Nah, no, I opened it early and closed it late. It don't turn green.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
The water's fucking freezing though.
yeah. You got one of those like blow up things you put under the cover.
No, no, I have an elephant cover.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, my father-in-law, his pool, he had that the little like blow up thing you put under the cover and it popped where it leaked out. So now he's got to take the cover off and fucking redo it.
yeah, that's a pain in the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And E period just never disappoints, huh? It's just always just so goddamn boring.
Ooh. I get some good entries sometimes in E period.
This whole week was kind of like that. This whole week, though, the market did some moving and then it just died right down,
Yeah.
chopping the shit out of people and me. Not today though, but Tuesday and Wednesday got chopped up. Or what's today? Thursday?
At 80 held.
Remember what I said? If the weighted AD goes positive, just fucking close your eyes and press buy.
Financial advice, got it.
These 1 minute candles on the upside are sitting with some stops lined up. That's for sure.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, I got that 45-degree angle going.
Yeah, my trade turned kind of ugly when it got down to like the 1350, but I bought back down. So I'm in at 1360 now, so it's actually pretty decent now.
Nice.
And I doubled up when it got way low. Could have got even uglier, but I lucked out.
It didn't look like it was gonna keep breaking. It was really just running out of
Because
steam down there.
it's just crazy how it trades right with the ES. I mean, like, it's crazy. But now the position's twice as big, so it's a little scarier, but it looks like it's going up.
I don't know if you guys listened to that thing, that Jim 88 posted, Anthony Drager in there. Anthony's pretty good trade. He knows he's like a real trader, you know. He has something on psychology. It was pretty good. He used to run the Market Delta trade room way back. Well, I don't know how far, maybe 10 years ago or so, 10 years ago. He's pretty good. Quick scalper though. I mean, he'll be in and out.
What's his name? What's his name?
Anthony Drager.
Is he on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Yeah, like I say, he runs something of his own now, but he was with Market Delta when they first came out with the footprints. They wanted somebody to show people how to use them. He ran a room, and he ran his own room, or well, he ran the room for Market Delta, and then eventually he went off on his own. And I didn't stay. I was with him for a little while in the room. He's good, but he takes some heat though. He's quick. Like he'll get in and he'll start scratching if it don't go his way fast. He's a prop guy, you know.
Yeah.
Chicago prop guy, but he's good. He knows his shit, and he's honest. He's not throwing no bullshit, you know.
Yeah, I'll have to check him out.
Yeah. I don't know what that Jim 88 if he listens. I don't know. He posted in there. He posts that in the sundial all the time, but I don't know what the fuck the sundial is.
Oh yeah, I asked, I like messaged him and said like, hey, do you want to come on and like kind of show us what this means so we can, you know, gain something from your posts? But I didn't see any response. So
No, he's like a ghost. He just posts in there and disappears.
yeah. All right, weighted AD is gonna go positive. Come on. Nasdaq's looking up, trying to break its previous swing high here about an hour ago. A lot of the sectors are getting close to trying to pop their tops as well. Here's a little quick look. You can see we've got healthcare trying to break up, or healthcare. There it goes. There we go. Covered up the move. But I mean, you can see a lot of the sectors trying to break up above their highs. They're consolidating and trying to break up. So all the sectors are kind of agreeing here. E highs mechanical right off the settle. Yeah, me too, James. And then just a little fucking pop, lock, and drop again. Sectors turn back to red. Weighted AD's coming back down. We're back down into the volume here. Remember, this 95's been a big area lately, and you know, settles 94, but we've seen the 95 be a big area from Tuesday, I think it was, right? We've had like, you know, that crazy volume that traded around the 95, 94, 96 area, 94 to 96 really. But it's about that time. It's lunchtime. I'm gonna go ahead and start settling down. Go get some lunch. Getting kind of hungry, and getting kind of bored with this weak price action. We all know as soon as we turn off the stream, the market starts to move. So hopefully we can get a little bit of that going. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And I will catch you guys in the TPO chat in the Discord.
Hey, man.
Later, man. Have a good day.
Man.